MovieWeb.com.
It was one of the greatest stories in American sports history.
A town with a population of just 586.
Most of these kids have already put in a full day's work at their farm.
If you're a Norway baseball player, you're a hometown hero.
We grow ball players here like corn.
It's the state's position that small schools are a financial burden.
There's more at stake here than closing the school.
All your boys get to play one last season without you.
I have no idea what you're trying to kill.
I'm wondering, for creating this character, I know you worked with Jim Vansoy, but did you find it a little bit distracting having him on set sometimes if you were trying to get into the head of this guy and then find yourself like looking at his mannerisms and stuff?
A little bit, and only like Jim didn't quite understand. I mean, you think about it, you know, if somebody was going to play your life, you don't know anything about movies, which he doesn't. Like, he's left-handed, I'm right-handed, and he was going, well, how come you're just playing him right-handed? And I was going, I'm right-handed. It doesn't matter, you know, those kind of things. So, but that was all right. I mean, we both are, you know, from farming communities. We understand. Mostly, I think what he was interested in was that I was a real person, and that's what he wanted to be portrayed as.
What's wrong with the phone on the wall?
It's a rotary. Dad, this is technology. It makes my life a lot easier.
Now, your character in the film is like, your whole storyline is almost a movie in itself. So was there ever any question of like giving you more screen time, or was you just set to...
I was happy with what we did. I wanted it to be real. I wanted my character, which I understood completely, moved away from a small town in Iowa to the big city, in this case Chicago, because he was too big for that. You know, his dreams couldn't be fulfilled there. And then there's the sort of the longing to come back, or, you know, he has to come back for his son because his son's in trouble. He's a single father, which my dad was. And this relationship between James Gammon, who plays my father in the movie, and my relationship with my dad are very similar, where he'll make his little comments. Every time there's trouble out here in Hollywood, he'll say, how's that going for you? You know, and, you know, because I worked at Hormel for 3 years in Atola, and, you know, he doesn't trust the Hollywood thing. So I also want to make it real with the kid, you know, and a little more physical, a little more anger, real anger, not light, you know, just something real. And so I was happy with the amount of screen time.
What do you got that thing set on?
Fight blue.
Where'd you learn to hit like that?
My dad.
What school did you say you go to?
Norway.
Excellent. I'm Kent Stock.
Hi. And Shakers.
Well, how closely did you get to work with Sean Astin?
Every day, you know, I was on set every day, and so, you know, one thing that I felt great about is that Sean would always, you know, ask me, what would you do in this situation? What do you think? Were you thinking in this type of deal? And so he honored me with just asking and picking my brain during the filming of the movie.
Well, did you ever find him sitting down and kind of mimicking you while you're like eating lunch or any of that kind of stuff?
I never caught him doing that, but you know, the people that friends of mine that have actually seen the movie say they can't believe how some of the mannerisms that you know, that Sean does in the movie are so similar to me. So I'm sure that's part of what he did, is he probably watched me.
Late. I'm talking to you, son.
I'm new, so cut me some slack.
I just did. I know your dad.
Sunglasses back, please.
We don't do late around here.
Whatever.
You're late again, I'll flunk you. Why don't you take a seat over there?
Now, you say we're from a farming community. Were you involved at all in like the small town sports when you were growing up like this?
Sure. Sports was everything. The school system and sports were everything. I mean, my community in West Texas was less than 10,000 people, and of course in Texas it's mostly football. It's not, I mean, baseball's there, but it's not as big as football.
I have to do this all myself again? Let's get out of the infield next time.
And that doesn't sit well with Ellis, complaining loudly at his teammates
An outburst like that could get him ejected if he's not careful.
He's gonna hang one for you right now.
How you know, Coach?
Just trust me.
Ellis into the stretch. And the pitch. Iverson connects, baby. It's way back, deep to right field. Going.
Now, were you on set for a lot of the scenes, especially like I'm wondering the baseball scenes and how accurate they got the games, especially the final game?
They basically, I worked with Real Sports, Rob Miller and Real Sports, and they were kind of the sports choreography of the movie, and we took my old game sheets from that final season, and we went through all those game sheets, and that was part of the script, and then we would script out the games and make sure that they were accurate as to back in 1991.
I noticed that during the singing of the national anthem, they don't cut to you. And they wait a good 5 beats before they do cut to you. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was a character, so I wasn't going to. I mean, I've been to so many games, and people screw up that song. It's a hard song to sing, and I'll go down and say, "Listen, I've seen way worse." So it's hard to believe that was 16 years ago. But
I know, and it still comes up, but it was just, that's what I thought when I was like watching it, was like, are they gonna cut to Tom? And then they didn't. And I was
well, see, in the real life, at Padres game, she sang the national anthem, and it's like the Spinal Tap. They were still booing her when I went out to throw out the first pitch, as I say. And because I thought, the guy's like, do you still want to throw a first pitch? I go, yeah, I'll probably never be allowed in the stadium again. So, it was gutsy. Anybody that sings that song has guts. She should have practiced.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think that's why they didn't cut to you for so long? Was the directors were conscious of that? Or?
I don't think they're that smart.
I guess that's what I was thinking, was maybe they kind of didn't want you in that scene, because they cut to everybody else, except for you and your dad.
Yeah, I don't know why. I might not have been there that day. I don't know. But I do remember the girl singing. She did a great job.
Sit down, sit down.
Yeah.
It's pretty old.
Oh, it's twice your age, son. Coach Bernie Hutchinson gave it to me when he moved on. Read the name scratched on the end there.
Trotsky. This is the bat that hit the ball that hopped the train all the way to Chicago?
Hal gave it to Bernie, and Bernie gave it to me, and now I'm giving it to you.
Coach, I can't accept that.
You got to. Part of the tradition handed down by the gods of baseball.
Well, now, the director was telling us that your son played one of the pitchers in the film. Now, was he with you through the whole, shooting of the film? Or did he just come in for that one scene?
Pretty much, no. He was there a good deal of the time, but he was playing summer ball on his high school team, so he was flying back and forth and playing real baseball and then coming out and working on the movie. It was just fantastic for me to have him there, and my daughter.
Was she also in the movie, your daughter?
Yeah, she played my daughter in the movie. Unfortunately, they cut most of her stuff out, but we were all there together, and it was a familial experience for us, a tremendously positive one, and I think the movie is that. It's about the family of Norway, Iowa, and really the family of America.
One player doesn't win a baseball game. Sammy?
You can if he throws 92 miles an hour, Coach.
We win by playing Norway baseball. 80% of this game is defense. We don't let anything get out of the infield, and we wait. Sooner or later, they'll make a mistake. Every player who's ever worn a Norway uniform is out there with you today. And think about this. No other Iowa high school baseball dynasty has ever won a state championship in their final season. We're playing for everyone who knows that Norway is a great place to come home to.
Now, being from Iowa, were you familiar with this story before you even got involved in it?
I was very familiar with this story. I remember growing up and just thinking, why can't these big schools from Cedar Rapids or Des Moines, why can't they beat them? And I knew Mike Boddicker, and who went to school there, ends up, you know, playing in the All-Star game in the pros, and everybody knew him.
Okay.
Everybody knew him, and you know, things changed, like I say, when they started consolidating the schools, and when the family farmers lost their farms to factory farms, and it all happened at once. And these towns, you know, they didn't realize, I mean, they didn't care how important these baseball games were to the towns. That was their entertainment this summer.
We send a message to all the other schools. Norway isn't dead.
Come on, Acres, be a hero!
Holy Toledo!
They don't lose, you have a problem next season.
We decide what happens out here, all right? Not the papers, not the people in town.
When you face the impossible,
Kids in small towns, they have something special.
the only thing you can rely on
Unbelievable!
is each other.
Ask yourself one question. How do you want to be remembered?